scientific death.
Inside the Windscale nuclear facility on October 7, 1925, everything appeared to be under control. Technicians were performing routine maintenance when they noticed a strange anomaly. The temperature of the air-cooled graphite reactor was dropping when it should have been rising. Interpreting this as a buildup of stored energy that needed to be cleared, the operators repeatedly forced the reactor into an accelerated power cycle to raise the internal heat. Their actions caused heat to concentrate in localized pockets, rupturing the aluminum-clad fuel cartridges. The graphite core caught fire and burned silently for 3 days, venting a massive, invisible plume of radioactive iodine-131 through these chimneys and into the surrounding countryside. To see why these experts essentially ignited their own facility, we have to look past the macroscopic dials of the control room and down to the behavior of the atoms themselves. The disaster was caused by a catastrophic gap in the scientific understanding of solid-state physics. This is a graphite crystal lattice, the material used to moderate the Windscale core. During normal operations, this structure is subjected to a constant, violent bombardment of high-energy neutrons. When these neutrons crash into carbon atoms, they knock them out of their regular crystal positions. This process is known as the Wigner Effect. These displaced atoms are forced into tight spaces between the lattice planes. This causes the entire structure to warp and bulge at the atomic level. This distortion stores immense potential energy. It effectively turns the graphite moderator into a massive subatomic spring, compressed under incredible tension. The operators had no way of knowing that their reactor core had quietly transformed into a highly compressed energy bomb. When the control team aggressively accelerated the power cycle to heat the core, they provided the final push. Releasing that stored Wigner energy too quickly triggered a rapid, uncontrollable dump of heat in localized pockets of the core. The localized temperature spike melted the fuel cartridges, allowing the graphite to finally ignite. Because the control room gauges were unable to detect the atomic tension building in the graphite, the operators were blindly walking into a trap set by the laws of physics. This landscape became the primary casualty of the fire. The Iodine-131 released into the air settled over the hills and water, entering the local food chain. The human body cannot distinguish between stable iodine and radioactive iodine-131. This creates a biological phenomenon known as the thyroid iodine trap. The thyroid gland pulls iodine from the bloodstream to synthesize hormones, greedily absorbing and concentrating the radioactive material. Once trapped, the isotope undergoes beta decay, firing high-energy electrons that shatter DNA bonds, destroying the cell's ability to replicate. The fire left the facility's structure intact, but it initiated a silent, decades-long cycle of cellular irradiation and thyroid cancer across the region. The disaster ended the era of air-cooled, open-loop reactors that vented directly into the atmosphere, leading to the closed, pressurized systems we use today. It also led to the mandatory use of Cockcroft-Foley filters, massive HEPA and charcoal systems designed to trap radioactive gases before they can leave a facility. For the first time, governments established strict legal limits for radiation in dairy products, creating the permanent monitoring systems still seen in agriculture near nuclear sites today. Windscale demonstrated that safe nuclear power depends on more than fission control. It requires accounting for how radiation changes the very atoms used to contain it.
If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. And don't forget to comment below with your favorite emoji.